I represent the rent is too damn high party. People are working 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week and some a third job. Women can't afford to take care of their children, feed their children breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My main job is to provide a roof over your head, food on the table, and money in your pocket. This is politics as usual. Playing the silly game, and it's not going to happen. The rent too damn high movement, the people I'm here to represent can't afford to pay their rent. They're being laid off right now as I speak. They can't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Listen, someone's stomach, child's stomach just growled. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Did you hear it?
Rent is too damn high, and Barack Obama, I'm coming after your black ass. Try to understand what that means before you open your mouth. Try to understand what that means before you open your mouth. Try to understand what that means before you open your mouth. Try to understand what that means before you open your mouth. We use phrases to see how you're thinking. One of those phrases we recently used is rent is too damn high. Rent is too damn high is like a martial art chaos. The word damn put the icing on the cake when it comes to that phrase. Now, another phrase that we in martial arts use is defining the sound of one hand clapping. For many of you who don't know what it is, you define the sound. The martial arts instructor will let you know that you're ready to move on to your next belt. Another phrase we use is some places where you train in the mornings that you go out and you kneel before a flower. And if the flower opens up in the morning when the sun comes up, and the flower closes when the sun goes down, you define the message of that. And we're not to tell you, we are to make you use the mind. We need to see where you're at and how you're thinking. So here's what I did. I made a statement, and I continue to make statements, and I will continue. But I want you to understand that because you can't see the problem, don't mean it doesn't exist. There's a hunger crisis throughout this country that no one is paying attention to. But I have tapped into it, and I know exactly what it is. One of those phrases is defining the sound of one hand clapping. And some people have already begun to say that because they don't understand it, they don't know they have a problem. They don't think they're whacking, and I know they're whacking, but here's that phrase. I'm coming after Barack Obama's black ass. That's one phrase I use so that people can understand that I need to understand where you're at, what you're thinking, how you're thinking. Now, this president is the head of the Democratic Party. Listen carefully, because this is teaching you how to get information. And as an independent private investigator, I do it very well. It's why I'm running for public office, and I know what this country needs and what directions we need to go in. I'm coming after President Barack Obama's black ass. President Barack Obama is the head of the Democratic Party. He is the Democratic president. Now, the logo for the Democratic Party is a donkey. Donkey could be used donkey or the word ass. I prefer to use that because the president used the word ass in one of the comments that he made. He didn't know who ass he'd have to go after. But since he is the head of the Democratic Party, I wanted to use that phrase, coming after his black ass, and now I understand how serious a problem this is. Americans are suffering from a hunger crisis, and only the ignorance of the mind is beginning to show by people responding negative. You need to eat more protein. Now, an ass is a donkey, and the President Barack Obama is the head of the Democratic Party, and their logo is a donkey. Now I hope you understand it. Once again, I wanted to carefully explain that to some who don't understand they have a problem, but I know different. And remember, because you can't see the problem, don't mean it doesn't exist. Hunger, protein, obesity. People are attacking obesity, and they have said nothing about the hunger crisis, the distribution of food. There are people right now being cut off food stamps. Food stamps are not being granted to these people because they are told they're not qualified. And this is the problem that I have that I'm here to address. Once again, the rent is too damn high movement. We are well and alive, and that's my baby girl there looking. These are the kids I'm here to represent. But I want all of you to know, understanding the world's problem takes more than just a message. It takes doing what I have done for the past 21 years, getting out in the street and listening and watching the people suffer like hell. That is who I am, and that is what I'm coming to do. And for those of you who are taking comments and remarks out of context and making it sound like something big, you have a problem. You need to eat proper. You're not eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Once you begin to eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you begin to feed the mind, and you won't act as silly, act as ignorant, speech as dumb, because you got the children really believing, and your children believing in this nonsense you're saying. So I guess that's all I got to say on that. And I urge all the martial art instructors to step up. And we are martial art instructors for a reason. We teach martial arts because the mind is the first thing we work on, help understand the mind and why it's important for you to make certain moves during your exercise and why we teach you. But I haven't found one credible martial artist out here, because the message in which I've been trying to convey, not one martial artist have came forward inviting me to their schools to explain this to the students, because they don't know how. And this is the problem we have in every, so in other words, the martial artists out here today are just out to get your money when you come to school to train. They're not training you anything. A true martial artist will take the time to explain to you everything I said and take the time to explain to you why I said what I said. I visit a true great friend of mine. I went to a radio station called the Curtis Sliwa Show, and I respect the man so gracefully. This is what martial art do. We help others, and that is what I'm here to do. Curtis Sliwa can understand what I'm doing, then you need to as well. If you're a martial art instructor, it's time for you to step up to the plate and stop flexing your muscles of your mouth and start flexing the muscles of your mind and your attitude in the way that you try to help people. Right now the people need help and you're not doing a good job at it. Rent is too damn high. And Barack Obama, I'm coming after your black ass. Try to understand what that means before you open your mouth.
I represent the rich and too damn high party. I represent the rich and too damn high party.